All right, you got any gifts for me?
No, but I have some taglines.
All right, that'll work.
All
I
right.
guess.
Well, it's actually just one.
Oh.
And I'm sorry, it's
Your gift
it's
giving
like
is
a
awful.
giant lump of coal, honestly. This tagline. When your nightmare ends, the real terror begins.
So I did for a bit feel like this was connected a little bit to that third Nightmare on Elm Street. Wasn't that the dream?
You thought this is the lost girl that got her
Yeah.
the whole first
Dream
5
Chasers
minutes
or whatever it is? Yeah.
Oh, the Dream Warriors.
Yeah, that one, Dream Warriors.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, ooh, she's gonna fight him in a dreamland.
God, that would have worked. The whole connection, we'll get there. But yeah.
What connection?
Yeah.
We'll get there.
We'll get there, but first, let's run off some stats. With one man with a see-through skull cap, one wrist slash, one flashback, one throat slash, one decapitation, one pair of breasts, 2 stabbings to death, 1 impalement, and 7 to 8 deaths in total. Not quite sure about her brother by the end of the movie. With a 3.6 on IMDb, it's 1989's Silent Night, Deadly Night 3. Better watch out. Let's drop some bombs.
Ho, 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 Vern. Merry...
I thought you said this Vern was a friend of yours.
I'm just trying to spread a little Yuletide fear.
My candy cane, little girl.
Right. What about now, Mr. Santos?
The name is Santa Claus.
Chris tells me you're psychic. Chris tells me you give great head.
Grandpa got run over by a reindeer.
Merry Christmas.
And a happy new year.
Welcome to Bombs Away, the only podcast recorded inside a projection booth. My name is Jonathan Young. Joining me in the studio, as always, is...
I watched out, but I don't know for what. Jared Seifert. Sorry, I got really excited about my own tagline.
I'm funny. I'm clever. And joining us, returning back to the studio for the 3rd time in this franchise, Mr. Andrew Roberts.
Hey, everybody. Good to be back. Thanks for having me.
You're a little lighter this time. You don't have some baggage.
I did.
Although I miss it.
No. They got picked up a little bit earlier, but on the bright side, now I won't feel so bad about using the swears.
Ooh, this is what we've been missing.
Yes, I'm a lot funnier when I've recourse to the 4-letter words.
Nice. That was a lot of fun last time, though.
That was totally fun.
That was
super
fun.
It was like the person that has no idea what's going on, but they get like that kind of interjection where they're like, "Are you telling me?" Like we had a good few moments.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Hold on.
Maybe the only remotely family-friendly episode of the show. I don't know. You had a family on it.
It did. It did.
know.
But what was great about it was that we were still describing to him events. Like, it was like the worst "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" story you could ever possibly have. Because we did not hold back on actually describing the movie, just the language of choice was a little different.
It's like, you see, when a guy really hates a girl and he's murderous, he kills her?
Then they touched each other in their privacy places.
Yes, so we are referring to the first 2 episodes that are related to this, because this is the 3rd one. This is our how do I put it? The year of sequels. That's how I usually say it, right? So we've been recently doing sequels to things that we did the previous year, and it looks like you're coming back for 2 more years, buddy.
Got a 4 and a 5.
And then we'll get you on the Ginger Dead series, and that'll take another 7
decade. Yeah.
yeah, right. There's so many of those. It's kind of insane, honestly.
The Ginger Dead Man.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of those?
Yeah, I think I saw one, and it was.
I'm sorry.
I mean, it's kind of. I was kind of curious to know how they ran the flat puppet, but beyond that, like there wasn't a whole lot.
Isn't Gary Busey in those?
I think he's in one of them.
I think so. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to give you a quick recap of 1 and 2, but...
As if the movie already didn't.
I know, right? But if you are genuinely interested in it, I totally suggest that you do check them out. You can check out episode 33 and episode 34. And Andrew and Paxton are in episode 34 for Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2. I actually thought you were in the first one too.
Yeah,
but
I was gonna
guess...
say something, and then I was like, I'll just let him figure it out.
Yeah,
He's looking the
right.
episodes up.
So that's episode 33 and 34 for if you want the full synopsis of parts 1 and 2. And then we also have a drinking commentary with Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 1.
And that's
right?
with Abby and Thomas, I believe.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have a full Silent Night, Deadly Night library for you guys to check out. But if you're like, I don't have time to go back and check that out, I'll put it on my play next list, or however you line up your episodes. Here we go. So, Christmas of 1971. Is it Billy or
Billy's the
it's
first.
Billy. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So Billy is like an 8-year-old boy, and his infant brother Ricky is in the car seat. And the entire family gets stopped by a carjacker, right?
Yeah.
Kills the dad,
Dressed as Santa.
kills the mom. Billy and Ricky see it all. But what's Ricky really seeing? He's an infant, right? Which makes no sense going forward through this whole thing. Please add things.
They go
interject.
to an orphanage, and they kind of grow up there. Ricky seems like he's pretty much normal, but
Mother
Billy...
Superior's abusive.
Oh yeah,
Well,
she's real
I
bad.
think we're leaving out the detail about the carjacker as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's Santa.
He's Santa.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah,
tried
yeah,
to throw
yeah,
that
right.
in, but Jonathan loves talking.
I do. I really do. Yeah, and so then Billy is an 18-year-old boy. He gets his first job at a toy store. And, of course, the one person that he hates more than anything that traumatized him in the past is Santa, or the vision of Santa. And who do they make him be at the toy store? Santa.
On like Christmas Eve, or like the day before, like their holiday party day, which I assume is like when they close for the Christmas season.
Yeah, it's
'Cause
definitely
like a busy
Christmas
day.
Eve. Yeah.
And you get the creepy line where it's like, "Be good. Stop moving. Be good." And the parents are like, "He's great with kids."
I'll punish
He's
you.
like gripping them by the arms,
You're
and they're
naughty.
like, "Ow, ow."
You're being naughty.
You're being naughty. God,
Yeah.
I hate the...
I will punish you. That's what I do.
So then, yeah, he goes on a murderous spree. They end up killing him in front of his brother and like all the kids in the orphanage. And then the next couple years, I guess,
Yeah.
we get Ricky, and he's in the sequel. And then the same thing kind of happens to him, I guess. I forgot what sets him off.
The first 45 minutes are him telling the story of his brother and recounting it detail for detail, even though he was not present for anything in which
he
we
got
see.
a lot of
and it's
details
just
right.
scenes from the first movie all over again. And then the next 20 minutes are more flashbacks, but of the reason why he's in the mental hospital, of all the people he killed, including Garbage Day.
It was
right?
more like Garbage Day.
Yeah. I didn't.
Like
I really didn't want to do it.
inflection there.
Good one, Shaggy. Yeah, and then the last 15, maybe 10 are actually in the present as he kills the doctor he's been telling the story to, and then goes after Mother Superior because
Again.
Who has clearly at some point survived an acid attack.
Yeah,
That's
right.
She's like in a wheelchair. Her
She's
face
had a
is half
stroke, and
melted.
it's like,
Yeah.
it's not what a stroke looks
That's
like.
She just looks like a melted wax
Looks
figure.
like she pissed off the local warlord or something, you know? Like,
Yep. Suffered a stroke, has a melty face, and is in a wheelchair now.
Well,
That's
then
how that
apparently
works.
when you attack Mother Superior and then you get a bunch of like bullet holes in you, when you get revived, you then get a little bit of acid face as well.
Yeah.
Because it carries over to Ricky in this movie.
So at the end of Silent Night, Deadly Night 2, Ricky is shot to death, we think, right? And end of movie. So here we go, folks.
Yeah.
He was not. He was apparently not.
he squeaked by.
Yeah, right? They reconstructed his brain.
Not a thing. Not at all. Like,
It's not like
I'm not a
facial
doctor,
reconstruction.
but yeah.
Well,
It's
his
like-
basic motor functions and perhaps even his memory. We're not sure.
I'm not
I was like, I think he might have gotten the
brainologist.
memory part back. Seeing as he's not here.
Yeah.
Well, we open up on Brunette Madonna.
With the
Just-
longest, just like, it just keeps just zooming out for like what seems like forever. And there's so many times in this movie where the camera just holds on nothing.
Well, there's like establishing shots that we don't care about. Like, remember this highway?
yeah,
And good.
yeah,
You're like,
right. Or when Grandma makes like full on dinner and we get to see the whole thing for no reason, only to be like, I guess she's out of butter because she just needed a whole bunch of
she
like
pulls
butter
out a box
sticks.
and is like, oh, shoot.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
There's whole scenes like that, or scenes where like, okay,
She moves the telephone by a window.
guys,
Just have the telephone be by the window.
so
There's no reason.
yeah, she moves the telephone by the window and illuminates it, and
Yeah.
then just walks away. So this movie starts out like the girl that we're talking about, like you said, Brunette Madonna, is
Laura?
Laura. Thank you. But
I
Laura.
was like, is that what you were fishing
Yes,
for?
I
don't know.
was. I wasn't trying to. I wasn't trying to bury the. I'm trying to bury the lead and just give the name, but because this movie decides to bury the lead for about 15 minutes,
Yep.
you have no idea that she is blind.
No.
No.
Yes.
Like,
No.
and even
Wait a
then,
minute. You're
she's
saying,
like,
oh,
Yeah,
you're
we're
agreeing
like,
with
yeah.
me. Oh,
but even then, it's still like, she's like, yes, doctor, and looks to,
To be
one
fair,
doctor,
yeah,
and then
she's
like,
clearly
looks at
not
the
blind
assistant,
the
like,
entire time.
well,
Like,
because in the dream sequence, that's the first thing
Oh,
that
she
we
can
see.
see.
She can see. She can see Santa. She sits on
Yeah.
his lap. There's this weird, like it's all white walls. It's definitely like a hospital scene, but she's like running around and she's running into
He looks just like a crazy person.
yeah. Well, he
like
looks
a-
like Frankenstein.
Yeah.
right. Like it. Yeah. It's okay.
Or like, so imagine the youthful Dr. Finkelstein
okay.
from, God, what is that? Nightmare Before Christmas.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh.
But before he got
Sally,
Sally. Like
Sally.
opens his own brain up like, Sally!
You'll not get me with deadly nightshade again.
Nothing's more suspicious than frogs, Brad. Until you try it.
It
that
does,
is.
right? But with you said with
Without
the
the
skull
lid,
cap
yeah.
off, right?
Yeah.
But then with the see-through,
Yeah.
like he has a see-through plastic
Or,
skull cap.
what is it, Mars Attacks? Do they do that?
Well, you
Or
can
is that Pinheads? Which one did
no,
the...
you can see like Mars Attacks. Their head is kind of brain-like
Okay.
at top,
They
right?
have like a brain head, but they're wearing a helmet, but it's not quite the same thing.
Yeah. Theirs
Yeah.
is obviously alien-esque, but, you know.
Right.
The-
But this is like
the general idea.
okay, so this is like like somebody took a circular saw, cut his skull open, took the skull top off, right? And then was like, we're going to work on this brain and then we're going to put like a metal ring right where that cut is and then have a plastic cap
You can
instead.
like see glue under it sometimes too, though. Like in some scenes, it's like, oh, clean that up.
And it's just a brain that's just sloshing around with liquid.
Yeah,
I was dying. It's because it's kind of wet.
yeah.
There's like like
Oh, it's
goo in
definitely
there.
yeah.
But not as much as there would be if his like and in your actual skull. So his brain was like half dry most of the
How
time.
much do you think that Jello mold cost?
Oh, it's like the brain jello mold you get at the Halloween club. Yeah.
That I don't know why I just like shot back this. Did you guys ever have like demonstrations of like safety officers that would come to your school, like in grade school, and they're like, "This is the importance of a helmet." and they would put a brain jello thing in a helmet and drop it. And they'd be like, see, it's fine. But then they just take a basic jello of a brain and be like, it's dead. Like, wear a helmet. It was really graphic, but it stuck with me.
If this
I
Jello
still wear
wore a
helmet,
helmet,
yeah.
then he'd still be a Jello
Then we
mold.
could have eaten it. I'm sorry, we can't now. It's all over the floor.
That's super important.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's Ricky now,
Yeah.
played by a completely different person. It's Bill Moseley from,
Bill and
Devil's
Ted's
Rejects.
Excellent-
What?
He said Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Shut up.
He went with his first name.
No, it's Bill Moseley from Devil's Rejects or Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, right? Yeah, it's 2. Cause he has the hanger, right? He'll take a metal hanger that like he bends into a hook. He like takes a lighter and, it basically heats up that hanger and then digs into his like exposed scalp, right? And does he eat it after that? I don't know if he eats the hook or not, but like it's definitely disturbing on purpose.
Okay.
Like I can see your face, right? But like Bill Moseley. Like if you ever seen The Devil's Rejects or House of a Thousand Corpses,
Yeah.
he's Otis. He's the main
Okay.
the guy being like, "Welcome to Fish Boy."
Yeah.
You're like, yes. So I mean, horror fans around the world, like when I saw somebody did a forum about like recently on one of the VHS forums that I subscribe to, and they said rank the Silent Night movies, and most people, like almost a majority of people, went 1, 3, like 4, 5, 2.
Those people
and I'm
are
like,
wrong.
what?
Those people are wrong.
I
Right?
thoroughly enjoyed 2. 1 was like on pacing, but this movie is like the worst with pacing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's like
It's just, he's so slow, and everyone's so slow, and I know she's blind, but she can run.
Everybody,
He can't.
everybody is just like, oh, what's happening? Oh, all right,
Yeah.
we're good, right? They're all screaming into the camera, like everything is screaming into the camera, like with the worst
He's not even
reaction
wearing good
states.
running shoes.
No.
Like, you can get away from him.
And I just don't understand, because this movie is the last of the series in which it's actually directly tied to its previous sequels,
Yeah.
where 4 and 5 are their own stories, right? So I just don't understand, when you were still going for it, like you were like, okay, this is still Ricky and everything. What happened to the Santa suit this time? He actually even kills the first person he kills has a Santa suit, and yet still
Well,
that was
even-
the opportunity
well-
for him to get one on and maybe cover up the skull cap too. And
Right?
both.
That was my question.
Yeah.
Well, so, okay.
Yeah, let's get-
Laura, she first wakes up from her first nightmare because Santa pulls a knife on her. And then she's like,
Not in real life.
Yeah,
but, I mean,
in the dream.
could be.
But this is when we find out she's blind. She's like, I could actually see. And he's like, that's nice. You should go back to sleep. Like, let's try it again.
Yeah,
so
but
apparently
see,
it's like a sleep
I didn't
study.
get that
You
little
didn't hear
hint
that?
there. Like I heard it, but
Yeah.
it didn't. To me, it didn't register as blind.
It registered then for me when she was a little bit like looking at him, but like his shoulder. And I was like,
I just thought that she was a bad actress, honestly. Like until she, the nurse grabs her arm.
Yeah.
Right, to lead her out the room, like 15 minutes into this entire
or even when
thing.
she's giving her a glass of water, you didn't notice that?
Not really. Like I was like, she's just loopy,
Oh.
right? Because as you'll realize later on in the film, I'm like, oh, part of her special powers, I think, is being autistic, because she's like, that's not where this chair goes. This chair doesn't go here. It goes right here. You know, like, where's my picture? The pictures always go here. Pictures go to the right. Definitely the right. Definitely.
No, she's just blind. She knows all of her area.
Right.
But yeah.
But also, like, grandma can move chairs. It's like, it's okay.
But so she goes back asleep because she's obviously like in a sleep study, and this is when the doctor's like, I think she's making contact with him. Let's try it again. And everyone's kind of being coy about it when I still don't understand what the whole thing is that they're trying to accomplish. Like,
I don't by the end of this film.
I
still
know
No, his-
connecting brainwaves.
his entire like science experiment was like shitty
Yeah.
and like made no sense.
Where did he get the
and-
funding?
Right?
Like,
Okay,
That's what I
that was my
wondering.
biggest concern. I was like, who is paying for this?
So, as anybody else on the side of saying that this doctor, I felt like was like one shift away from being a Me Too story,
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
he's
yeah.
just like there's a point where he tries to get her to go to sleep, and he's just rubbing her temple and being like, "Dream,
What-
dream."
And then there's his like monologue a little bit later on where he's talking to the nurse, and she's like,
I have this.
"Yeah,
Yeah, no, we're playing it.
Are we gonna play it? We have
Yeah,
to.
yeah.
It's very funny.
Yeah. I have this, but we'll get to it. It actually comes very close to this.
It does what?
Yeah, right. But it's very sexual innuendo. So like,
Absolutely.
yeah. As I pull it up, it gives us time because it's not
Cool.
right now yet.
And can we take a brief detour to mention that the doctor is Richard Beymer, who is Ben Horne on Twin Peaks, which is not the first David Lynch connection in this movie. Which
No,
is
there's
Yeah.
multiple.
bizarre
right?
as hell. There are a ton, which
Yeah.
is really strange.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. Like I didn't expect this. I'm not sure if I need it. I just I'm not quite sure. But did anybody else notice the doctor's charts for Ricky? Where it just said diagnosis coma. Like, well, yeah, that about sums it up. So
Well, then even when the Santa Claus reads it, he's like, victim, coma.
yeah.
It's like, what?
Everybody's just
Well,
Everyone's
I
a
was
victim.
Just kidding about the thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's also a thing in here where I didn't really understand. Like I said, there's this thing where he's like, "What did you see?" And she's like, she describes what she sees, but in my mind I'm like, well, she saw something that even Ricky didn't see because it's the
Yeah.
mom the mom rape from the first
Yeah.
movie. I'm like, he doesn't remember. He can't visually remember this. Like, why do we keep showing that flashback?
But she's also not describing like her dream details to the guy that's like, you're in a dream study. And she's like, Santa was there. It just scared me. And it's like, all right, there was more to it. Like you were being chased by the dead guy in the next room.
Yeah.
Well, seemingly the coma guy in the next room. And then Santa pulled a knife. Like, come on. Details, girl.
Yeah, right. So I have the clip, and we're gonna play it right now.
You think she made contact?
You think anyone
I
knows
think-
I'm 12?
That she's playing little girl games.
It's
Her
so
body may be young, but her soul is old. Older than we can imagine.
You think she'll come back?
She's gone too far. She'll be back. And then she'll let me go as deep as I want.
Nope.
She likes it,
Phrasing.
loves it.
They
Knowledge. She can't resist it. She wants to penetrate his mind,
All right.
see what he sees. The way that he sees it.
But he's in a coma.
Well, he sees for both of them.
And then he's crying. That's also where I was like,
Oh, that's right. He cries, which is weird.
"Ooh, awkward."
Are we supposed to feel sorry for the monster? But what is that? What is all the sexual innuendos in this movie? There's
He's
that.
just
There's
a
creepy
horny
Santa
guy.
after this.
Yeah.
What is happening? But
You're on a candy cane, little girl.
I thought that was because that part of that speech, at least the word penetration, is in the trailer for this film too, right? And I'm like, why was this so important to feature these very obvious sexual innuendos in this film,
People are like,
Right?
this is one of the scariest things about this movie.
right? And then little girl games.
Yeah, it's called Reindeer Games. God, it's Christmas.
I know, right? But also like basically his description of like she's playing little girl games, but she's an adult to me, right? And I'm like, that's what a pedophile says.
Her body might be young, but that soul,
Yeah.
Curvaceous. Like,
ancient.
I'm going to ask that soul out for drinks later.
Maybe her body's not old enough to drink, but her soul is.
Her eyes telling me no.
That's terrible.
That's
good.
So, like we said, Laura is blind, and Laura's very rude to everyone
But
around
also,
her.
this nurse is kind of rude.
They're both rude.
Like, well, okay, so Laura goes up to the front desk, and the nurse, like, is just doing something, and Laura's like, hey, my brother's going to be here at 4. Can you tell me when he gets here? And the nurse is like, I'm pretty busy. Why don't you look for yourself? Is like what I was waiting for the nurse to say. I was like, it's about to happen. Because she's blind. Like, just be like, sure, I'll look for a red Jeep, whatever.
But like I was saying before, this girl doesn't. At least she's not acting properly. Like I think to like fully portray blindness, right? So she just looks like she's deeply staring, kind of off. Like she's just a girl who doesn't like to make eye contact.
Yeah.
Right.
Concentrating a lot.
Yeah. So, yeah, she's like, tell me when my brother, and she's like, yeah, whatever, right? And then she's sitting there and she has this vision. See, this is the weird thing is like the beginning sets up this whole like vision and psychic abilities and things like that, and then until Grandma shows up at the end of the movie, she apparently can't see anybody gonna bite the bullet.
Yeah.
Like. It's
she
weird.
Foretells, so her vision is that it looks like she's the one that slices the nurse's throat, but then she falls asleep a little bit. Her brother wakes her up and is like, hey, let's go. I gotta catch some waves.
Not before this weird dream sequence in which, she like grabs the woman's throat and then proceeds to like smear blood on her own face in the dream, and just screaming like, and like you're like, why is she screaming so like weirdly?
Yeah.
Like blind people still scream like normal people.
If I couldn't see and I accidentally put my finger in someone's wound throat, I'd probably scream pretty
throat
weirdly.
vagina?
Yeah. Those. I'd be like, sorry, no, not for me.
We can say that now.
Yeah.
Throat vagina.
Throat vagina.
Yeah, so then her brother picks her up. And then we flash over to, he gives her like, hey, I'm taking my girlfriend to Grandma's. And she's like, that bitch that's an airline stewardess? And he's like, whoa, okay.
You know very well her parents died on an airplane.
Okay.
How dare you?
We don't really know well.
All right,
though.
guys. She goes to her psychiatrist, which is not the same doctor she was just at, right? So there's also a second doctor in this mix that it's confusing.
Fucking creepy weirdo, by
that
the
looks
way.
the same as the last doctor. And this is where, through explanatory dialogue, he basically tells us that not only did her parents die in an airplane, accident, but or an airplane crash. That's what they call them. But she survived that same crash. Is this how she got her powers? Is she like Daredevil?
I think it's how it made her. I think it's what made her blind. Honestly,
and I think the powers are like trickled down through the family because even her grandma's like getting a phone call, and then it's like bring bring.
Okay.
It's pretty clumsily shoehorned in there, but it's for
line,
those of you in the back.
Yeah.
I totally missed the getting the phone call thing.
Yeah, she says it.
The phone's gonna ring.
Oh my god.
There it goes.
It's like Poltergeist 2. This is just the grandmother, mother, Carol Ann. You're just like, no, shut up.
Yeah. And so, she gets some more exposition there. Oh, her second dream, just the first dream, whatever. But then, like, it kind of pops up again when she's, like, asleep in the car later.
Yeah.
Yeah, I jumped around there. I don't know why.
Yeah. So, we are introduced. It's Brian, her brother? Is it Brian? I think so.
I just called him Surfer.
Backup guitars from, like, Poison.
Yeah.
It's fine.
That one Australian exchange dude.
Twisted Sister.
All right, here's Twin Peaks connection number 2, Eric DeRay, who played Leo.
Yeah.
So the whole movie, I'm like, this is where we live, Shelley!
This is, it's Chris. Sorry.
Chris.
And he's his her brother, Laura's brother, and then Chris is dating Jerry, which is Laura
a female.
Herring.
It is a woman.
Yes.
For those listening.
Yeah.
Jerri, I guess.
Jerri.
Oh, two R's.
Yeah, right.
Well, she's, Jerry.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's French, but that's played by Laura Herring, who most famously was on Mulholland Drive as so that's your other Lynch connection. Is she what's it called? She was the amnesiac Rita.
Yeah.
Rita. So there's all your Lynch right there, buddy. You got a whole bunch in a movie that nobody else remembers. So Jerry is like they immediately hate each other, but I don't know why, because they look identical.
Yeah.
Like-
Well, that's probably why the blind girl hates her. She just can't tell.
That true.
And then this Jerry's probably like, he's just dating his sister. God, this is creepy.
Yeah, right.
Like,
Because when Jerry walks out, I thought it was Laura until they come face to face, and I was like, what? Twins?
Yeah, there's some weird like psychosexual shit going on
Yeah.
with Chris. Chris?
Yeah, it's Chris.
Okay, Chris. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's some weird psychosexual shit going on with Chris, man.
So as this is all happening, I also want to point out that this is where the soundtrack just sounds like somebody hit the demo mode on a Casio keyboard. Because it's not, there's nothing entertaining about it. It's just like, and you're just like, who even tried? Like, why did you even try? Like, because there's also parts where it sounds like somebody just leaned on one key.
Yeah, just put it on strings
whole
and put your
scene.
hand on it and see what happens.
That's exactly how that is. And so for Christmas, Laura, Jerry, and Chris are going to go up to her grandmother's house in not Peru, Piru. Okay. And who she, mind you, because this will come back around, she specifically tells her doctor exactly, like, that's how we know that name. And yet he doesn't remember it when the important time comes.
but he does remember, like, oh, she gave me oranges because her grandma owns an orange grove.
Yeah, right.
It's like, all right, cool.
Yeah, that scene, like, if we go back, he's like, thanks for the oranges. She's like, yeah, my grandma has an orange grove. Like, how about you're welcome? Like, she's so awkward, right? And I guess I don't know, maybe because of the superpowers or whatever, they're trying to make her awkward, but, like, it just comes off as bad acting more than anything.
So
right?
then, before they even start their drive, this is we get the beginnings of the murder spree, I guess.
Yeah.
Santa is going around giving out his candy canes and getting real drunk, and then he stumbles into Ricky's room and makes a bunch
Calls
of...
a nurse a little girl. Like,
Yeah, he's like,
hey,
you
sit
want a
up,
candy cane.
Yeah, little girl.
And makes a bunch of vegetable jokes.
Go on.
Vegetable jokes.
Uh-huh.
Makes vegetable jokes to Ricky. I hope he doesn't jerk Ricky. That would be bad timing because Ricky wakes up. And
Yep.
Ricky's pissed.
Ricky's pissed because he's been making fun of him. He's like, hello, vegetable. Ah.
And I guess Ricky just like strangles him.
He does something.
You don't see.
I think he squashes him between like the camera dolly and the wall.
Right? Because this is the first time somebody screams into the camera. That's the director, by the way.
Is it really?
Yes. That's the director. Actually, this film was filmed differently. I mean, this film was filmed
Obviously.
differently than most films. No, this scene was filmed differently the first time around, and apparently the director felt like it was too cruel, or like
the Santa wasn't enough of it. Was too much of a jerk.
it was too ill-willed or something, I think the phrase was. But so like he wound up refilming it because it was originally the actor who plays Santa in the dream sequence in the beginning was playing this Santa here as well. And then because he couldn't get that guy back, he was just like, I'll put on the suit. It doesn't matter. Like, and played that part.
And history was made.
Also, so this film was screened at Alamo Drafthouse in 2008, in which the director showed up, and he famously quoted, he goes, "While I feel I feel like I did my best work, it's not my best film." Like, I mean, I feel like I did pretty awesome on it, but it's not awesome.
Whoops.
Also, he went on record of saying that this film was extremely rushed into production. I mean, between part 2 and part 3, there's a year difference in their release. This was only released to VHS, and apparently the whole film was rewritten in a week. filmed in a month, edited the
Yikes.
next month, and ready for print the next month.
It definitely feels like it was written in a week. Like they took like 20 minutes of movie and made an hour and a half out of it.
And then, fun fact, the script that it was rewritten for was just turned into part 4.
Oh.
Oh.
So they wound up just using it eventually anyway.
Well,
They're like,
okay.
well, we got it.
I mean, we still have the rights to the first movie, and it would be a waste if we didn't, reuse that footage again to fill out 20 minutes of our
Yeah.
film. So,
I'm just surprised they didn't use more of part 2.
different Ricky.
Oh, so they
Yeah.
really... Yeah. I mean, that would confuse people.
Yeah.
Not brain juice.
Well, he really lost a lot of weight while he was in that coma, and
Oh, that's right. You
completely
loved
restructured
part
his
2 Ricky.
physiognomy.
Part 2 Ricky was so handsome.
My sister met that guy at like a con and got him to sign something, and she said he was a little bit reluctant. Like, she's like, "Can you write Garbage Day on it?" And he's like, "I have to."
What else did he do?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what I said. I'm like, really, dude? Like,
It's not like
Do you
a
mind if
bad
I write?
thing.
Do you mind if I write a line from The Young and Restless? I was in one episode.
but yeah.
And,
If it
that's
helps,
what I'm known for.
he's still pretty nice looking.
That's good.
Yeah?
He's still around.
Okay, all right.
Doing the,
In a
doing
blue
the-
sweater,
doing the
just
con
everywhere.
thing,
There was a doll of him, like a
Shit.
like there's a Silent Night Deadly Night 1 Billy doll, in full Santa suit. But then somebody made you could do Ricky, and you could either put him in the Santa suit or the blue sweater. Yeah, so that's fun.
With like garbage can with bullet hole. Like,
Yeah, nobody did this version of Ricky,
Yeah.
which I'd love with like the little like sloshing
Got
around.
just a little water in it. Like,
Looks like a snow globe.
yeah.
That's his head we're talking about here, folks. So moving on. Ricky, kills the Santa and then kills the nurse in the same way that Laura saw earlier in the film as a mental projection.
By the way, clean up your workstation. Why was that scalpel
Yeah.
there? She's working
She
at the
was-
reception desk.
She was using it to open letters.
That's right.
She was like, "It's efficient. Like, can't use it again in surgery. It's too dull."
Yeah.
So then, but like after he kills her, they like pan up to a video camera, and then so like the main homicide detective is there, and then so is like the research scientist, and he's like, "Well, how do you know it's our guy?" And I thought they were gonna talk about the cameras, but for some reason they didn't.
Not for a second. If they do,
It's foreshadowing, you guys.
right. But they go, why would you bring a guy back to life? Like, and he goes, I believe innocent until proven guilty. I'm like, they have full-on tape recordings from the previous movie.
Yeah.
Not to mention, like, he had already been through, like, 4 psychiatrists prior to the psychiatrist we see in that film, right? And he's definitely admitting to the murders with a lot of, like, confidence about it, too. Being like, because he was a douche. Like, come on, Doc.
I thought she loved me too.
Right? Reindeer games. Now we're getting somewhere. Like, red car. That's it. Yeah, red car. Good one.
Interesting.
Right? Just being like, he already admitted to it. So this guy's like, I believe he was innocent, and I was trying to bring his brain back to life out of the coma in order to get his statement again. I'm not quite sure. What was the
Yeah.
experiment?
ESP.
The connection between...
That's all I know. ESP.
The brain thing.
The
Yeah.
connection between a psychic and her ability to bring people out of comas.
Maybe. I mean,
But
that's
also,
a better
you could deal.
explanation.
Yeah, you could deal with better subjects.
Yeah.
Not one that you have to spend a lot of money surgically reconstructing their brain into a plastic skull cap.
You just kind of sewed all the goo back together and hoped for the best, and it seems like it worked.
We used a soldering iron just to kind of like connect things. I don't know.
I don't know why he won't wake up, guys. Like, we've done everything.
We connected it all with Christmas lights. We thought it'd be fitting.
He loves Christmas, guys. Trust me. We have tapes of him saying that. So,
They start their journey, the 3 children, I guess. And the Jerry, she's like, oh, so if we take this to this, we can get there. And then she's like, no, we're going to take the 101 to this street and then turn left.
Which
We've taken the same path every year. And then all of a sudden it like flashes over to
Smash
Ricky.
cut.
Yeah. And he's like, got it. Like they're just walkie-talkies to each other, but then it never plays out again. Like he
No,
just
not
got
really.
those One Directions from her.
Yeah.
She never sees a psychic vision from him again. He never gets more like radio waves from her.
Well, he
But
just
then,
cuts her
like-
off. You know? We're good.
But then
Um,
later we get the so then this is also we get detective and doctor decide to road trip up as well because he's like, well, I know you said it's like north of the valley. We could just drive that direction. He's like, well, okay. So then like he has a great line where he's like, maybe he's seeing through her. And he's like, maybe she's seeing through him. I was about to be like, she's blind, so they're kind of in a fight.
Yeah, right.
She's got to be asleep apparently.
Well,
for
that's what they actually say, because I wrote this line down. She sees what he sees, and he sees what she sees. And I'm like, so he sees nothing?
Yeah. He's like,
Can I get a better subject? Guys, something just hit me.
oh, are you okay?
Yeah, no, I'm fine. But something about this plot and the whole mental connection between girl and serial killer came out of nowhere to me just now, being like, I've heard this before. Anybody?
I already just thought Dream Warriors.
The Cell?
No, actually.
No? Okay.
Came out. It actually came out a month prior to this.
Oh.
Halloween 5.
Oh.
When little girl Jamie
Oh,
then has the mental
yeah.
connection.
Oh.
It's the same damn movie.
Is this the one with Paul Rudd?
No, that's
No,
6.
it's 6.
Yeah.
Okay. Nope, haven't seen this one then.
Yeah, but like, this is after 4, like the next year, and then she's mute. Remember, and like she has a mental connection, but Loomis can't get her to talk, so he doesn't know where Michael is the whole movie, right? It's the same damn thing, except that instead of mute, she's blind, but they still have psychic connections, and it's way better in Halloween 5, surprisingly.
It's really surprising though about Loomis is that like a shouty weirdo is a bad psychologist. Like,
Yeah,
like his
you'd
whole thing
think-
is like, I've seen him. I've seen inside his eyes.
That's good.
Thanks. Dude.
I was just gonna go, Michael! Michael! Right? I know my name. God.
What do you want? I just woke up.
Or one of my favorite lines from like part 4 when he first sees him is like, Don't go to Haddonfield. Take me instead. I'm like, you think he's just gonna choose? Why don't he just take you and then still go? Like, it's a weird thing. As if Michael's like, all right, it's a good bargain. All right, I'll go home. Right. Oh wait, home is Haddonfield.
Spent all these years trying to keep him locked up, but I did teach him to drive. Like, the fuck, dude? Like,
Wouldn't that explained away? It was some weird thing where it's just like
how does he know how to
some
drive a
orderly
car?
must have taught him.
Yeah, he just took
like,
off.
What orderly's like, come on, serial killer, let's go.
Dead-eyed child, hop in. We're gonna go for a spin around the grounds
Right?
here.
You
Don't-
look like you need some cheering up.
Bobby, I don't think you should do that. It's fine. He only killed his sister. It's good. Well, haven't we all wanted to kill a sister? So anyway, back to this. I just thought it was very weird, very coincidental. They came out the same year, a month apart. I'm like, did somebody throw in that final thing? But no, according to at least, unless scripts were being tossed around the same time.
Production coordinators, like sharing notes over drinks and being like, "Oh shit, that's."
Well, if this one was
hey,
written and
that's
filmed in
great.
like 3 months, basically, I doubt there was any overlap time.
I mean, if he said, because he said it was like rewritten in March of that year.
So they might have gotten hints that that one was already written. And been
Yeah.
like, just steal that. We can do it better.
Right.
And it's like, oh,
You're right.
wrong.
Hey guys, I have this idea for a volcano movie. Right? Hey, me too. Well, mine's in LA. Mine is with Pierce Brosnan. So mine's a real volcano. Yours is the tar pits. Yeah, right. Hey, over here, I have a asteroid movie. Oh, me too.
I've got an asteroid movie. What are the odds?
right? That is all of Hollywood, and it probably was this right here. So now there's another thing that Ricky does at this point. He hitchhikes, and the Jeepers Creepers van picks him up.
And then I'm assuming he kills them, but like you don't really get any.
In the most
someone throws a red sweater on him and is like, "Bah, cover up."
So not explained in this movie. We just happen to, I guess, have to remember that red is his trigger, right? Where Billy's was actually Santa.
Yeah.
Red is Ricky's trigger, right? So in probably the most forced red moment is like there's a red sweater hanging on this guy's rearview mirror, and he's like, my wife makes me wear this. Can you believe it? She makes me wear this? Complete stranger with a brain head.
Yeah.
Like,
no one's concerned about that.
Yeah, you look like you could use some cheering up, man. Here's my sweater. Yeah. And your head doesn't look so hot either, man.
Right? Kills that
Is
guy.
your head sending out Wi-Fi signals? What's the password?
Yeah, kills that guy, leaves on the side of the road, takes his clothes so he's not in a hospital nightgown, even though he had a perfectly good Santa suit to wear.
Covered up that brain mold.
Right?
That shot of him hitchhiking, too, like, just fucking slew me for some reason. Just standing there, Pyru 1 mile, and he's just like,
looking like an animatronic outside of a joke shop.
Yeah.
I'm
definitely picking up the guy with the brain helmet.
Yeah. Pick up the guy with one droopy eye that looks so gaunt. Like, I wouldn't pick myself up on the side of the road. I wouldn't pick anyone up. Let's be real.
We cut to Grandma, right? And Grandma's making dinner, and then we cut away from her, and like they call Grandma.
Yeah.
And Grandma basically says, "Hey, on your way, stop to pick up some butter."
Before they call Grandma, they somehow he gets ahead of the kids.
Yeah, which is weird because he still like stops at a gas station and does the decapitation.
Well, yeah, because they stop at the same gas station.
They do not.
Oh, it looked exactly
I questioned that, but it's a completely different intent. Like, there's somebody actually that
waits on them. Well, no, because they walk to a
What
different.
the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they stop at the gas station, but they don't get gas. They walk next door to the convenience store. They don't even go into the gas station. They just use the payphone at it.
Well, those pumps were red. I thought he was going to stab the pump.
Right. Well, no, because that's when he kills the gas station attendant, and then they stop at the gas station after him. Because then the cops also stop there. The cop and the detective and the doctor also stop there.
I don't know. I
do. I do.
Because
the gas station
weird.
pumps, they didn't have anything inside the store. It was just someone selling gas, and then the convenience store was next door.
Okay.
They were all Texaco.
Yeah. I mean, we're not arguing that it's the same gas station that was filmed at.
Yeah, it was clearly the same location.
Well, it was definitely filmed at the same spot. But it also read that they just went next door, and that's why they were like, well, I guess we're not getting gas tonight.
Okay. I mean, yeah, sure. It just seemed like a different one because there was another attendant altogether.
Well, that's because they went to a convenience store next door. They didn't go into the gas station.
See, that's where I'm
they
confused on this whole thing.
They were separate stores.
Because that's never in the history of gas stations has convenience store been a separate entity than the gas station that it's connected to.
It shows them pull up to the gas store, but then the two girls walk over to a different convenience area.
This is before franchising.
Yeah. Before looping it all together.
Right. So... Okay, yeah, the grandma tells them to pick up butter while they're there, and I assume that that's how he got ahead of them. They were still shopping, and he took off, or whatever. Yeah. And so he goes there, and this is another thing.
He being Ricky.
Yes, thank you. This is another thing where...
So they also don't stop to get butter. They literally say, oh shit, we forgot to get butter.
Right.
Christopher gets the butter.
Basically, Ricky gets ahead, but we don't know how.
Right. Shows up at the door, Grandma answers it, and he's wearing this snow cap over the skull cap thing.
But not fully covering it.
No, not at all. As if, he's not even trying, right? And immediately, I guess she treats him like a homeless person?
Yeah.
Right?
But then she also is like, my daughter's disabled too. Or my granddaughter's disabled too. And he's probably like...
Do you like that
rude.
photo?
Yeah.
Isn't she pretty?
Oh, this is where I wrote, like, he looks at the picture and immediately Laura somewhere else is like, oh, that's what I look like?
Yeah. Laura's
I look like my
"Ah,
brother's
guys."
girlfriend. Jesus.
Yeah, I look just like her.
And then Grandma's like, I think I've got a gift for you somewhere under the tree. And then for the entire rest of the movie, I was like, man, okay, I gotta research, like, what's a good gift to just constantly have at your house or like around Christmas time that you can just give to an unsuspecting guest. Like,
Well,
if you're just
usually
like,
In case a homeless cyborg shows up.
right?
Like,
Well, no, like if like randomly someone's like, oh, and my friend, their family's out of town, can they come over for Christmas dinner? And you're like, okay, like you have an
That's
extra
when
blanket.
you just wrap something
wrap
up,
it
in the closet. But the present that she grabbed that was already wrapped, that's usually in a more religious household. That's the gift for Jesus.
Oh.
I'm not even joking. Like, my parents would always wrap a present and be like, "That's
It was
Jesus'
an extra
gift."
large
and there was
sweater.
nothing in it.
Oh.
But like,
So
it was
she just gave him a box of nothing. She was like, here you go,
It was
Jesus.
symbolism. But not even joking, the gift for Jesus.
Oh my.
And it would just go away when the decorations went away, and then that gift would come back out, and you'd be like, man, he never opens his gifts.
Jesus always skips our house on Christmas.
'Cause you're Jewish.
So Grandma goes to hand Ricky the present, and of course it's like vibrant red in every direction. And he's like, nope. And you just hear, like, you switch to outside because filming death is too much.
In in every sequence except for the throat slash.
Yeah.
And just random stabbings throughout the rest of the movie that sound like just punches.
Yeah. And, Grandma screams, and we're like, all right, bye.
And they hold on the house for a good minute before she screams, too. So it took him a minute to, like,
Yeah.
I guess, really menace her.
He was like, wait a second.
Well, but you see
I don't
how
like
fast
that
he
color.
walks in this film.
Yeah. He had to get the 5 feet to her.
It's like, but you guys, we gotta get it to an hour and a half. Can you hold on the house for like an extra 10 seconds before the scream? Every frame counts.
He wanted to
boys.
see what the gift was before he killed her. Like, maybe it's redeemable. And then he was like, socks!
Yeah.
It's a Santa hat.
Aw, man.
Uh-oh.
Oh, it was a Santa hat. Yeah, so then the family all shows up. And then, did anyone else, was there like a sweater in the middle of the sidewalk that they parked next to? Did anyone else see
I
this?
did not.
There's like a blob in the sidewalk that they all like, you can clearly see them walk around it. Because even though she's blind, she's making a line towards it. And then she's like, doot, 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 and walks around it. And it just looks like someone in production crew left a sweater on the sidewalk. And they're like, well, we can't reshoot that.
Yeah.
The sun's about to come up.
So now they're there, and
It's okay.
what?
They're there.
Jesus. All right.
They're there. Don't be so upset.
So,
They're there.
yeah. So this is where Laura immediately goes autistic.
Yeah.
And it's just like, this chair shouldn't be here. Something's wrong. And you're like, maybe somebody just scooted the chair.
The
Like,
judge is like, the chair should be here, and like hulks out, and the chair like slides 3 feet. And I was like, oh, Laura, she's been lifting.
Chris, meanwhile, is getting tired of his sister's shit and is like, maybe you should just move the chair, Laura.
yeah.
Well, Chris also has a great line where he's like, all right, none of this psychic bullshit. Where it's like, oh, you know, okay.
Yeah, right. And so Jerry goes upstairs to take a bath. Right?
Which is weird. Okay, so
Okay.
Well, for a number of
I
reasons.
think we're about to go in the same place.
her
And it-
areolas?
Oh no!
I'm kidding.
Oh,
No, I'm
hey,
kidding.
what?
No. So her sister,
They're like
the
they're
sister
like
makes
Hershey
a
Kisses.
comment. No, not that. No, I didn't notice her boobs at all. But her sister makes it. Her sister,
Laura.
Chris's sister, Laura, makes a comment like, so they're kissing in the doorway, and she's like, "Can you two stop that? You're gonna drown each other." And so then they go up to the bath, and I was like, "Oh, the guy's gonna break in and drown him in the bathtub." But then there was also a hairdryer hanging on the wall, and I was like, "Oh, he's gonna
Oh,
electrocute her."
I totally
Yeah.
thought that was gonna happen too.
That would have
right?
meant someone at some point would have had to put some thought into what was happening in this movie.
Yeah, no, there
Nobody.
wasn't.
The kills. Okay,
For
I
all
will
the
say
brain
kills
that
are
we see
not
in this
creative.
movie, there's no brain in this movie.
Kills are not creative in this film at all.
You don't even know how
No.
Grandma dies. She's just parked up in the basement by the
Yeah.
end of the movie,
So
knitting.
okay, this is where I wanted to go with the scene. Is that like this is the weirdest editing, right?
I don't wanna see him
so
in a
basically,
bathtub.
so what happens here is that as Laura goes upstairs, the brother is talking as Jerry goes upstairs, the brother is talking to his sister Laura in the kitchen, and they're having a dialogue, a conversation, right?
He's like turning off the burners, like, oh, Grandma's done.
Yeah, right? Then we cut up to Jerry, who is undressing, right? And hears a noise outside. Then we cut to outside with that same shot that we just had with Grandmother, right? Then immediately after the outside cut, it cuts to now Chris is naked.
Yeah.
No bit shown.
Right? But like full on hairy chest, but he's naked as if we cut back down to the kitchen and now he's naked and he goes, so how do you want to do this? Yeah. Right? And I was like, what happened? Like, it looked like he got undressed in front of his sister in the kitchen.
To be fair, she wouldn't have seen.
Yeah, right? So how do you want to do this?
I kind of feel like maybe he wants to.
Right?
Yeah. I mean,
but actually what happened is that they didn't give us an establishing of him going upstairs. Time had actually passed.
Yeah.
But that was horrible editing. Yeah. And he is in the bathroom with Jerry, and they're going to take a bath together. And I don't know about you, but like, has anybody ever taken a bath with a significant other and just not boned? Like, they just take a bath and then get out and start walking around outside.
Well, I'm 6'1", and like
right.
that was not a big bath, too.
Rental apartments, you know. Like,
oh yeah, the faucet's directly in his back.
I mean, there's no way.
You can tell when he leans back too. He's like, Rainick.
I thought it was funny. She's like, like, here, scrub my back, and she turns around, and I kind of half expected him to just like lean forward and start like, washboarding her.
He's like, this
right
is my
on
Brillo
his chest,
pad.
like.
She's like, "Ooh, you brought a sponge," and he's like,
You
nope.
never see him.
loofah.
You never see him topless on Twin Peaks, so it was kind of like a little bit shocking
yeah.
actually to be like, what?
Yeah, he is a hairy man.
Yeah, he is.
It's like a Cocker Spaniel.
So then they're like,
like top and chest.
yeah,
That hair. Oh my god.
it was like thin but like bushy.
It looked crimped.
Yeah.
So as this is happening, the doctor from the beginning of the movie is doing all the experiments, and the detective are having a full-on dialogue about
Everything.
cell phones and cars? What is happening? Apparently he's a detective by day and a car cell phone salesman by night?
So this whole like drive up, the detective's like, I don't really give a shit. We'll find him eventually. And the doctor's like, sometimes you become the monster yourself. Like, getting like way too hard on him. Well,
Way
I mean, he should
creepy.
be that hard
Yeah.
on
Do you
himself,
think we
but
might-
it's like,
Do you think he'll have to kill him? IDK. It's possible. Sometimes you gotta kill motherfuckers. I don't know.
Right.
Got another drink in there?
They're
Have you
both
heard about
not-
Verizon?
it's got the whole shebang.
It's got
Call
hands
waiting,
free.
call forwarding, hands free. Like,
100 memo auto dial.
Guys, we're actually not exaggerating for a joke. This is all actual dialogue.
This is literally the dialogue.
gotta
It's
go,
so weird because it comes out of nowhere and then makes a callback at the end, the like final line that he says to like, call you later. Like, what?
He's like, don't joke about that. Like, what does he say?
I wrote it down. We'll get there.
Oh, I don't want to spoil it,
Yeah.
but I remember.
So this is where Ricky is looking through a window and she blindly is like in the same window kind of sensing him. So they're like actually face to face, but
She's
can't.
already like she said hi to Grandma like a few seconds ago, right?
Oh, yeah,
Before
yeah.
that, she was like, Grandma, I sense you.
Right.
Where'd you go? Like, for like 5 seconds. And then she like walks up to the window. Like, that, the window can't decide if it's opened or closed throughout the entire movie because it looks like it's closed there, but maybe she's standing at the glass door that he
Right.
Kramers through later. Like,
Yep.
which terrible design. Like, we'll get to that part too. But so she's standing in a window and then like he's there and she just screams again where it's like, did she
screams
see him
and
seeing
bumps into
herself?
every wall
Yeah.
possible.
Ow, ow, ow. But yeah, and did she tell her brother like there was a man out there, or was she just like, where's their brother just gonna be like, we don't know how you know that?
Yeah, I don't know, but at the same time, the brother and Jerry have been looking for their car that has like just gone missing.
So first they go looking for Grandma, and
Right.
they're like, "Well, what's in these houses?" And he's like, "Well, it's where the workers usually
For the
stay."
Orange
A
Grove.
bunch of oppressed migrants stay
Yeah.
here, but maybe Grandma showed up to,
Bunch of slaves
It's before,
for the Orange Groves.
yeah, it's before the Farm Workers Association took place with Cesar Chavez.
Oh,
That's a
got it.
California history.
Yeah,
They get the day off for him. You didn't know that?
Sure.
They do.
I didn't know
Huh.
or care.
But yeah, so they like keep knocking around, and they're like, weird. I forgot the neighbor's also not even home because he goes down to what is he? They're really heavy on like pointing out California.
This is a lot
places.
of exposition.
Yeah.
Like,
He's going to Baja. He's got
Yeah,
a
it was
trailer.
Baja.
I'm like, okay.
Which wasn't the first two movies in like Colorado or Utah?
yeah,
Something, yeah.
Because there's mountains everywhere
Yeah.
around them.
and there's
So-
actual snow.
Yes, that's right.
And
So
then- yeah, they
now-
found the car.
they come back into the house and they're like, "We just found our car. It's upside down in the Orange Grove."
Do we see the car? I don't remember seeing
No,
the
you
upside-down
never
car.
see the car.
So, like, we cut away from it because it would have just been too much to turn the car over and
But
shoot
why?
that. But
Why is it turned over at all?
How did
he Frankenstein? Like, did he
Rick is-
Hulk it?
Did
superhuman
he drive
strength.
it and flip it? But like, he's got to be real careful with that glass shell. Like, I can guarantee he's gonna have an accident someday. It's gonna spill out. Like,
Right, and then he's gonna get brain damage.
Yeah.
Like, this is not good for
they're
anybody.
gonna have to
It's gonna make
rewire
his
it
other eye
again.
droop.
Yeah, he's gonna be so sad, looking like
Yeah,
a
but
beagle.
we found it upside down in an orange grove, and we're still not really in a panic about it.
But this is also
Nothing weird's
whenever
happening.
Grandma drunk again.
I like Laura at this
Stole it
point
and
is like,
drove it into a cliff.
Laura's like, can we just walk to the highway and keep moving? And they're like, well, we gotta just hang out here for a little bit longer.
Right?
They really don't have much of an excuse to stay there, but they
No.
keep making excuses to stay there. And so then this is also when we get Jerry's like leaning against the front door, like, my word.
She's southern.
Yeah.
It's
And
an orange
then-
grove, not a plantation.
True. And then Ricky just busts an arm through and starts choking her. Also, people choke to death in like 5 seconds in this film.
Oh, this is like crepe paper door, by the way. Yeah, he's just choking her, and then like Chris comes out of nowhere with a knife and stabs him, and
then runs away and is like, hold on, I'll be right back. I'm going to go try and find another steak knife.
Yeah. Multiple steak knives. And this, I guess, is the knife that Ricky has the rest of the film,
Yeah.
because he pulls it out of his own arm, and then like it's just like, I'll be back,
Yeah.
and just leaves. And then
Then they all decide to leave finally, I guess.
yeah, but not before like the doctor shows up.
Grandpa's shotgun.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, no. So they stop at the gas station because they, detective and doctor, they get a call that's like, "Hey, we found a severed head at a gas
Right.
station." By the way, probably check this out. So yeah, this is also when they have their dialogue where it's like, "We don't know where we're going, but we've got to find out like Anderson's and an Orange Grove. Let's see if we've got any hits up there for that." And they're like, "Okay," and then they do get a hit. And they're like, "Cool, let's head there." And I was like, "God, your detectives are so slow." But I guess they didn't have computers then. Whatever. Their fault.
But also, you just look up Anderson,
Yeah. Because it's literally got a sign that's like Anderson's Farms.
or just remember Peru.
Yeah.
Like, God damn it,
Pyru.
right? You'd think he would remember. He was so
Yeah.
obsessed with her.
Yeah, by 1989 they had 411. You could just call
Right.
it Piru, California, Anderson Farms, anything.
Right.
There it is, Anderson
Yeah.
Farms. There happens to only be one.
See,
So-
I'm a better cop than the cops in the movie.
That's for sure. Because you, if you were a cop, are also not a cell phone salesman.
But where would AT&T be without him?
That is true.
Yeah. So before they decide to leave the house, Chris goes upstairs and they're like, he's been up there for a while. And it's the longest, like, he's probably dead. And they're like, oh no. And it's a full, like, 3 minutes, which in movie time, that takes a while.
Yeah.
And then he's like, found Grandpa's shotgun. It's probably 100 years old. Let's see if it still works. Which I was like, that does not look like it's been in the Civil War.
No.
Like, what the hell? That is not 100 years old.
No,
that
it
is
looks
a
like
lie.
you grabbed it off a mantle upstairs. Don't lie to people. Stop bragging about your dead grandpa.
It's also one of the many guns they hide in their house because they're gun hoarders.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
Ugh.
It's like my granddaughter's blind, so I've just
I'll
been
just hide
leaving
guns.
loaded guns in random places.
But she also is like, I think there's a gun under this mattress, like later on,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know though. I don't usually hang around and obsess over the gun room. So
it could
Oh,
be
shoot,
this
it's not
mattress
this
or one of
bed.
the other ones. We don't know.
It's
The
not
whole
this
game
room.
we used to play when we were kids.
find the gun.
Oh, this is the mattress she hid Grandpa's porn in. God, I don't know why, but I could always find Chris in this room.
Oh man.
So yeah, they all go outside. Somehow Ricky's really athletic for like 5 minutes because he climbs on top of a barn or like
That's right.
stables, and so
Drops
like
down on top
Yeah.
of Chris.
and then just stabs Chris right in the chest, and Chris is like "Bleh," and coughs up blood. So they run back into the house. Literally, like that whole scene took like 5 minutes, and I covered it in 15 seconds.
Yeah.
That's this whole movie.
So this is kind of like the way they act and everything. Like this, other than the fantasy portions of it, like this started to remind me of like the ending of Leprechaun 1.
Yeah.
Where it was just like outside, and then like the killer would just jump out of somewhere, and they'd be like, "Let's go back inside.
Yeah.
Let's go outside."
I think I would have loved this movie more if
If a midget was in
No.
Ricky, yeah, me too.
if so like right when Chris gets jumped on and killed, Jerry's like but then they also show Laura and she's just standing there like what but facing the wrong direction. Could have been a bit more comedic in my opinion. Give her like real blind moments where she's just like, what is it? And it's like, well, Chris just got jumped on by the weird brain guy and he got stabbed. We should probably go inside now. Like,
Right. So what we didn't cover is on the way to the farm, the detective needed to take to drain the reptile.
It
oh no, this
relieves
is
the reptile.
So this is what's actually about to happen.
No, we needed to backtrack because he leaves the detective while he goes to take a pee and drives to the farm himself. That's why detective and
Well,
doctor.
yeah, no, because this just happened. That happens right after this scene.
No, it
Or
has
right
to happen.
before
It has to happen right before this scene because Doctor shows up right after he stabs
Oh,
Chris
right.
in the same barn area.
I thought there was like a cutaway for a minute.
No, it's the same thing. He's just like, stop, Ricky, stop, and like Ricky just shows up and like comes to him and they like have like a touching hand moment. As if Ricky even knows who he is. He's been in a
like-
coma since the death, right?
He uses a recorder that has Laura's voice talking, and I guess Ricky was like, the voice means it's you. And then once he felt his hands, he was like, I don't think Laura has man
guess.
hands. And then
Right.
stabs him and kills him.
Right?
Well,
and
he
the
stabs
doctor
him and
goes,
wounds him.
the doctor goes, Ricky? Like as if he's shocked that a serial killer stabbed him and killed him.
But also,
so
like,
betrayed.
yeah,
Right?
Ricky doesn't know you. He's not like, these hands were in my brain.
Yeah.
Putting it together.
No.
Like, he's
Not
not
at
going to
all.
know you.
Sir, I used you as my experiment for the last 6 years. Don't you remember all the good times we've had?
That's
Ricky!
always one trope I hate in like horror movies where it's always like, I thought we had a connection and now you killed me. It's like,
Right.
they've been killing people like this entire movie. Why did you think you would be okay?
right?
Like,
Yeah. I was your creator. Right? Yeah, because basically it's a Victor Frankenstein moment, but with no establishing that they know each other whatsoever. Like, because he is betrayed, like, Judas! Like, so then Ricky...
tu brute?
to Ricky! Yeah, and then Jerry and Laura go back into the house. They hug and apologize to each other for being mean to each other.
Yeah, they push a piano into door hinges.
Yeah.
Which I was like, is that the best way to blockade a door?
Especially one that's already broken and he can just kind of shove out the way.
He'll probably just kick the rest of it open. But no, instead he Kramers through a glass door.
That's
He
right.
straight up is just like, hi! Like,
Yeah.
not afraid at all.
They're upstairs. Jerry's in one room. She gets pulled under the bed
Oh
by
yeah,
the
she's
poltergeist
looking for
clown.
the gun.
Right. It just seems
It's
like,
whoop.
yeah, just straight under the bed, just like little old boy in the first poltergeist. It seems like she's just straight sucked under the bed.
She didn't seem too broken up about Chris either, because Laura's like, "Is Chris dead?" And she's like, "Yeah, I think so."
You should
Yeah.
probably
Yeah,
move
I don't
on.
know.
I mean, I
She's
didn't like
"This
his
is why-
chest hair, so
This is why I have backup boyfriends.
I'd never seen him shirtless before tonight, and I gotta tell you, a little bit repulsed.
Yeah. I was let down, but I mean, I've got other people in other parts of the world. Stewardess life.
Stewardess life.
So now Laura goes down into the basement.
Well, so Laura walks into the room.
Oh,
where
yeah.
it's
Jerry,
basically like
Jerry got stabbed. She's
Yeah.
dead.
Jerry's dead. Laura like sits on the bed next to her and is like, "Oh God," and Ricky's like,
Yeah, he keeps.
because he keeps whispering
Yeah.
her name because I guess they've got a bond, but I don't really know why he wants that bond. There's no like, if he kisses her, he'll be brain normal again.
Yeah,
like,
it'd be better. It'd be better if Laura actually was like his sister.
yeah.
You know, something like that. Had a real connection to him. Like,
There was a third baby in the trunk.
yes.
Had she been naughty? Did she need to be punished?
even
Not
if it
necessarily.
was like another orphan at the orphanage, you know, something just a
It was
little
like
bit
his
closer.
best friend orphan at the orphanage.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, the one who did sit
Yeah.
on Santa's lap.
Yeah, so she runs away, she gets all the way to the basement, and she's doing fine in the basement. She's like, "Ooh, don't hit anything." And then immediately she's like, "Bam!" And she just screams.
Yeah,
Oh, because she touches a rat.
that's
It's a
right.
rat.
She,
She
touches
a rat and is like, "Ah!" And then runs into everything behind her. Like, also, like,
She's the
poorly
worst
placed,
heroine.
like, yeah. Like, terribly placed everything
Rat.
in the basement. Yeah. No, like, the way they store things, they're like, I don't know, lean it on a post. But then, did you notice that the bed frame that they leaned on one of the pillars was tied
tied?
off? I was like, okay,
We
guess
didn't
you don't
bother
want that to fall.
We didn't bother to secure our sheets of sheet metal, but
Yeah.
the bed frame.
Yep.
And then, this is when we also find Grandma dead. She walks over. She's like, "Grandma, it's
Well,
you."
because she's hearing
Yeah.
Grandma's voice again in this moment.
She tells her to gather the light.
While she's snapping peas,
Yeah.
like Grandma's sitting in a chair as a vision, snapping peas into a bowl.
And gather the light
See
to
the light.
vanquish the darkness or something like that.
I can't. I'm blind.
Yeah.
Use your psychic ability to be nice to people.
Yeah, but she doesn't. She
No.
straight up doesn't. But
Nope.
then I love this too. So she then, like, as she's walking forward to try and find Grandma, she touches her dead body and is like, "No," and falls again and makes even more racket. But then you see like a pole fall next to her, and I was like, she's got a pole. She can see again. Like, it's her blind staff. I was like, all right. And then she immediately, like, she hears the guy walking down the stairs. I guess
He's got like water shoes on.
yeah, I hated it. And so then she's like swinging with the pole and hits the light at the top
She's
of the
like
room.
playing pinata with the light bulb.
And she goes, "Now we're even." And it's like, well, okay, I don't know if you know this because you are blind, but there is a severe amount of bright light coming from the stairs. He can definitely see all of the basement
But
because it's
also-
only like 10 by 10.
I mean, I guess it is physically possible, but like I've never seen a light bulb get smashed and then still like the filament
go.
didn't
It's
burn
actually
out.
really cool.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Like I feel like and that was real on
I
set
know.
too, being like, damn it. Like
Shit, but keep it in. It
why
looked
did we
neat.
hire a real
Yeah.
blind girl?
So then, she tries to beat him with a stick, but he grabs the stick and breaks it. And before he can kill her, Chris comes downstairs with a shotgun and shoots
didn't
him.
die.
And then Ricky gets back up, and like, there's no more gun in the gun. Like, that's the best way I can put it. And Ricky like pins Chris against the like one of the pillars of the basement and like chokes him out.
This is a worst fight. This is like a cripple fight.
It was so sad. I was like,
Like,
he's literally been like shot in the shoulder, but then also Ricky's been stabbed in the shoulder. Like,
it was bad.
or Ricky was shot in the shoulder, Chris was stabbed in the shoulder. They're like, it doesn't even look like he actually choked him out. So it's like, he looks like he still should have been alive. But to us, like, to the end of the movie, he is dead. Chris is dead.
I guess.
But then Laura is like, "Ricky, come here. I love you." Like, And she's got like part of a broken broom handle in her hand. And then as he's leaning towards her, he just
falls.
he trips and falls on it. She's like, "Gotcha, sucker!" Like, and that's kind of how he dies. And then the cops show up.
What a dumb way to have that go.
Yeah,
and
what a
then
goof.
after this, like, you see the doctor who's still bleeding out. He's not dead, and the
So I was
detective
like-
shows up.
eviscerated with his
he's
intestines or
But he's not dead yet. He's bleeding out. He's got blood everywhere, and the detective comes up to him and he goes, "Give me a call sometime," right? And he goes, "Lieutenant, don't be stupid."
okay. You would think
which
that
was
the
another
detective-
callback to something that they said, something about stupidity.
they'd had their discussion of like their philosophies of life, you know.
Yeah, and I'm like, why is this exchange happening? Am I supposed to care about the fact that they're not going to get together?
I mean,
like what?
They made friends on the 45-minute ride from like, you know, Simi Valley to Pyrene, I guess.
Yeah.
Like,
If I was a detective, I feel like my first thing would have been like, "Hey, we need a doctor." Like I've seen enough like
Call me
things where people are
sometime.
dying, not just like
through
Let me make a
Verizon.
quip. You look like
maybe
you've got
you'd
10
spend-
seconds left.
If I'd spent enough time in the car with that guy too, I'd be like, "Oh, you seem to be dying.
Weird.
What a shame."
Right?
So then
The
we
guy
get
who
like,
reanimates serial killers is dying. Weird.
but then we also get another
Ironic.
we get like the stupidest scene where they're shown wheeling out wheeling out Ricky, and the ambulance driver is clearly not in on the story at all because the ambulance driver's like, "Let's get him to
He goes,
the-"
with real luck, we can save this guy. Let's get him to intensive care, right? And I'm like, well, if you could save him, maybe you shouldn't have covered his full body with a bloody sheet.
Oh no, you could still see like his head up.
Oh, I didn't see his
But they
head
did
up.
have a sheet on because that's the only way you could tell that it was like a brain jar at the top. But if you were the detective, I'd be like, "Excuse me, young man, maybe just like take the detour, take a long route.
Yeah,
Say you
leave-
got
leave-
caught in traffic."
Hey, leave the siren
Right.
off, okay?
So the detective puts Laura in her car. I mean, in his car.
And he's like,
And
"You
then he
like
goes-
cell phones?"
Well, no, yeah, because that's what I wrote. He goes, "There's a lot of things I know, but I guess there's a lot of things I don't know." And I just wanted him to finish with being like, "What I do know is cell phones."
I do know I love call waiting.
Right? And
Watch
she
me
just
put my
goes,
mom on hold.
"Merry Christmas." Right? And
She's
then,
kind of happy though. She goes, "Merry Christmas."
right?
Like
And
she's relieved.
I guess. But Ricky's still not dead, so she still has that connection.
Yeah.
It's not going to work out for her. And then the movie goes, and then Ricky, who's now in a tuxedo and staring straight at the camera, says, "And a Happy New Year."
With a less droopy eye. I was like,
And I'm like, what happened? Did he get all fixed up like during Christmas and then is going to a New Year's ball? is there now we're going to Old Lang Syne Part 1.
yeah.
Like,
Old
what?
Langs die.
Ooh,
Old Langs die.
I like it.
Yeah.
Why wasn't that? Why isn't Old Lang's Die a film?
Okay, first off, I'm pretty sure it's out.
They had New Year's Evil.
Yeah, we did that.
I know.
That was fun.
You know,
Yep. So that's Silent Night, Deadly Night 3. Better watch out.
Yeah.
Um,
Better not watch.
would you recommend this film?
No.
I
Watch,
would.
Watch the first two.
What do you think?
for like real fans of the series, I mean, it's important to like, you know, complete the set.
Well,
as
like
it,
you.
as it were. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, we had. Well, yeah, we had to.
We
know,
had to.
It's, you know, it's also like, you know, you got to understand. I mean, this was like, you know, like northwestern Orange County in the '90s, and there wasn't much to do but get high and
Make
you
a
know,
movie?
Yeah.
watch these movies.
Oh,
you know.
watch the movie.
Wow.
Yeah,
Both.
both. But yeah, no, this one was. I think when I first saw it, I was disappointed that it wasn't the same Ricky, because I was like,
Sure.
this fucking weird guy.
Yeah.
You know. It's,
I'm just disappointed it wasn't him in a Santa suit.
yeah.
I would
Yeah.
be cool
Or
with
something.
Santa suit plus brainhead.
It was just too slow. I was like, not more action. It just needed like better kills. It needed like
Oh, yeah.
more kills. It was just kind of like, when is he gonna do something? Because also most every kill is done off screen or like far away from the camera.
You know, like you said, where the camera dolly impales someone.
Yeah. Ow! Ow.
Yeah, right in the face, right in the forehead.
Yeah.
So you would recommend it or no?
I would recommend it with reservations.
I would recommend it as part of like friends watching a bad movie. Like,
Yeah.
I watched this with a friend this morning, and we had a blast. Like this would do well for a drinking comedy commentary version of it.
There's
it
enough
definitely-
pauses to where you can just like tell
huge like silence
quick,
of space.
quick story.
Yeah. So yeah, we were riffing on it pretty hard this morning. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, I would recommend it in that sense.
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend it of just being like, you should watch this and this one only. Like, that would never be the case.
Oh.
If you want to finish the story of that family, I guess, maybe?
What is his name? What's his last name? I almost want to say Caldwell Cunningham.
Yeah.
It started with a C. Ricky
Yeah.
Cunningham. If you want to finish the Caldwell family saga, then definitely.
Sure. And then you move on to part 4, which is apparently, a cult or something?
Yeah, it's like a cult.
Investigative journalist.
Yeah, she like stumbles onto a cult that's going to do a sacrifice around Christmas time, is what the synopsis said. So I don't even think they get to Christmas, or they might get there, but it says around Christmas time.
There's lights.
Part 5's the toy maker.
Yeah.
You guys are in for a treat.
Really?
Oh yes. Oh yes.
I'm stoked.
It's pretty incredible.
Nice.
I don't know. I don't want to spoil it, but there's definitely like a lot of bizarre sexual shit happening in these films, and number 5 does not disappoint.
This was the least sexual so far.
It was definitely the least sexy.
Yeah, there was like actually no sex.
I was turned off. I'll tell you that much.
So since you've been here last, we have started like a new rating system.
Oh, cool.
Right? And it's based on the 4 Jaws movies.
Oh.
Right? I think you can figure it out. Right?
I think I can. Yeah.
So, for example, Jarrett, you would give this film
It's a Jaws 4.
based on
it being kind of boring. I looked at the screen a lot.
as you should
Yeah,
when
watching
you
the
have
movie,
a podcast based on movies. Okay. What do you got?
I'll give it a Jaws 4 as well.
Yeah?
For the missed opportunities in the film, like they didn't even make a the woman. Okay, wait, let me go back. The guy that's like working at the gas station, he's like, I'll be right back. I got a customer, but I want you to talk dirty to me when I return.
Oh yeah, we kind of glossed over it because it was like so dumb.
Yeah.
It was totally dumb, but
he could have like started pumping his gas and then got some dirty words in, and then like as he goes to leave to finish pumping gas, showed him get his head chopped off or something
or
anything a little like that.
A joke about a little head.
Yeah,
but not even that.
Yeah.
No,
the joke about head was
down.
straight up to Jerry from Laura. Was like, my brother says you give great head.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? That's how you meet? Right?
Yeah.
And she's like, I also do great hand stuff.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. That's good.
I'm glad to know that you talked to your brother about how we fuck.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like nobody calls him on it, being like, good job, Chris. God, another one?
Way to go, blabbermouth.
Another one you're just bragging about it? God, why don't you just sleep with your sister already? Because you clearly are telling her, giving her hints. I'm going to say Jaws 4. This will be my first Jaws 4 on the show so far.
Fours across the board.
Yeah, 4s across the board. So one last thing that we also now do is that we like to find either reviews in which somebody on Amazon or IMDb praise the hell out of it. So like a 10-star or a 5-star review, right? Or like somebody who had such a strong 1-star that it's comedically funny as well.
All right.
So we have 2 for us today. And they are coming at you. I have from Jared. Jared finds these. I have no idea how they're going to go.
One is a 5-star review, and one of them is a 1-star review.
Yeah, that's fair.
Slim pickings on this.
So, okay. The first one is titled "A Kid's Review." No. The title is "Used to Now Love It." Used to. Oh, used to hate, but the A is gone in hate. That's okay. So
Used to hat.
yeah. So they're also like riddled with spelling errors. Usually, those who are passionate don't have time to spell.
Yeah.
No,
They're really bad at spelling.
And he loves finding those because it just kills me. Right.
They're the good ones.
Titled "Used to Hate, Now Love It." Written August 2003 by a kids review. Okay.
Guess they were underage.
One whole word here. Great gore creepy. Right? Look for the killer and some bad acting, great movie, and actually goes on a killing spree in the present instead of lame flashbacks. After Ricky's put in coma, he wakes up after a deadly experiment with a girl named Linda.
Wrong name.
And on the way kills nurses, truck drivers, cutting off people's heads, all leading to Linda for the final showdown. Great third, but acting's kind of blah. 5 stars. Go ahead and take a look at how that's written out too.
It's all in caps.
It's all in
Entirely
caps.
yelled at you.
It's incredible.
Things are like words are combined. That was
Red
very
lines.
hard. Usually I read them with a little bit more passion. I'll try to get that out of this one. This one's a little lengthy, but this one is
a thumbs down.
This is a full thumbs down.
Full thumbs down.
Titled, "Finally, no more flashbacks, but a boring sequel." Well, he's already wrong. Written by Robert Cornelius, November 2001. This hideously injured Ricky has been saved. Still deep in a coma, his exposed brains has been encased in a plexiglass cap bolted to his skull. But strange things start to happen when a gifted clairvoyant taps into Ricky's dark and twisted brainwaves. Even though this film didn't have a bunch of flashbacks, it was still pretty boring. This time, Ricky is quiet.
Like it made it exciting. Like, the flashbacks were great.
Flashbacks are the best part.
Just because he got shot? These sequels keep getting worse and more worse. I've seen all the Silent Night, Deadly Night films up to the 3rd one, and I can tell you, these movies should be trashed. Well, here we go. This time, it has something to do with Christmas, but there's no snow. I know it can be Christmas without snow in some areas of the U.S., but please add some snow, so it doesn't look like you were in a rush to make this film. I remember the first Silent Night, Deadly Night had snow, but the second one didn't, and neither did this one. These movies are just horrible. I thought it was also weird how he died. He was still alive when he should have been dead. Weird movie if you ask me. There might not be any more flashbacks, but it's still a horrible one to waste your time on. I'd rather watch the first one. I hope my review was helpful to you. 1 star. There's no goddamn snow.
You went on about
Christmas
it.
movie is this?
Right? So that just about does it for us here at Bombs Away. Thank you for joining us again, sir.
Thanks for having me back, man.
Hell yeah.
This
Is there
always
anything
a good time.
you want to plug? Anything you before you leave?
God, I wish I did things that were worth plugging.
Yeah?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
I mean, if we're friends on Facebook, check out my hashtag beginning drawing hashtag.
There you
Oh,
go.
cool.
That's right.
You
You've
know,
been doing the
art,
SketchUps.
A little bit of that.
Yeah? Hell yeah.
Yeah. So
Awesome.
Yeah, no. I've once I produce something worth talking about, I'll try and elbow my way back in here.
Sure. You were doing the Shakespeare Theater last year, right?
Yeah, I did that.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
cool.
So there's plenty of stuff, that Andrew
Yeah.
does. He gets into.
I'm between projects, really.
Yeah, right. So are we every week. It's fine. So that does it. That just about does it for us. Thank you to my guest Andrew Roberts, and I also want to point out that if you're listening to this episode, then make sure that you tune in for December 28th, Demolition Man, right here at the Frida Cinema, Bombs Away Live. Ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be super exciting. It's the 25th anniversary of one of the best bad films of our generation. Wesley Snipes, Sylvester Stallone, Taco Bell 2032. That's the theme of our evening. So we're trying. I'm not quite sure by the time of this recording or the launch if Taco Bell actually responded to me. They have not, as I'm saying this. But if not, we're at least going to have rat burgers.
Oh.
Don't worry, guys. It's just regular burgers. We're calling them rat burgers. And everything's going to look like Taco Bell 2032. Lots of purple, because that's what they did in the film.
Every movie we do
Right?
is purple.
Yeah, I know, right? It's a weird coincidence right now. No, Mac and Me was red and yellow. So,
Yeah, that's true.
yeah. But I really like my uplighting. I'm sorry. I bought them. God damn it! I'm going to use them. But please join us, Mac and Me, December 28th. No, I'm sorry. Yep, sorry.
2 years to last month.
Yep, I am. No, Demolition Man, December 28th. It's a Friday. Come get drinks, have fun. I'm actually going to try to make the Baja Blast, but alcoholic. Right? All you got to do is get your hands on a bag of Baja Blast and then freeze that. So it'll be like fun. But that's everything that we got for Demolition Man. It's going to be such a fun time. I can't wait to show this to an audience and just see how they respond. I mean, it's been 25 years since this movie came out. So tickets for that are available right now at www.thefreetocinema.org/events/bombsawaylive. Please join us for that show. Other than that, please follow us social media at Bombs Away Show. And if you had a question, a correction, or something that we should have omitted from this episode, or anything from our previous episodes that is just eating you alive, you can actually write it to us, email contact@bombsawayshow.com. Did I leave anything out?
Nope.
All right. Well, thanks again for listening, guys. We'll see you next week with Ernest Saves Christmas. Okay? That does it for me. I'm Jonathan.
I'm Jarrett.
And
I'm Andrew. Merry Christmas, everybody.
I couldn't have put it better.
I was just going to say, don't be stupid.
I was going to say, and a happy New Year.
I love it.
This has been a production of Big Bulb Entertainment, executive produced by Jonathan Young. For more media and information, visit us at www.bigbulbentertainment.com. Big Bulb, what's your bright idea?